Welcome to Fighting Over Fiction, the podcast where opinions are unstable, somehow I'm still allowed near the controls, and the official report will absolutely blame human error. I'm Will.
I'm Tash.
And I'm Fraz.
And today we're asking, does Chernobyl prove that talking in rooms can create more tension than action?
Finish her!
I love it when we get a specialised intro, Will.
I feel like there needs to be like Easter eggs just dropped in here and there, not everywhere.
No, I think you're right. I think if you overdid it, it'll be too much. But when I was doing the ad for the Knight's Tale episode the other day, and I was going through the episode, going, right, what little snippets can I use? No, I'm just going to use your entire intro.
There was something special about that. All the stars did align.
It was beautiful. How are you both? Are you well?
Yeah, good, thanks.
I'm doing well. I'm doing good.
Wonderful.
How are you?
I'm good. I was young again. I did young person things and got tattoos. So
Amazing.
And you know what happens when you do young person things?
Then you feel very tired afterwards.
You feel tired and in pain.
But we keep doing it anyway.
For sure. What have you been watching this week?
I finally finished Landscape in the Mist.
Oh, how was it?
It was terrifyingly haunting.
Was it a horror?
No,
Okay.
it was a drama, but it's very hard hitting.
Sure.
Yeah, it's about two kids who go and travel Europe to find their dad, who they think's in Germany, but he's not.
Oh.
And it's about the people they meet on the way, and the people treat them terribly and very well. So it's about kind of children losing their innocence, which is quite sad.
It is. When was it made?
No, late 80s. I think it was 88.
And when was it set?
When?
Yeah.
Yeah, 80s.
It was set in the
Yeah.
80s. Cool. Will, what have you been watching?
I watched the first 3 quarters, as is my usual story, of Black Widow.
Okay.
And I feel like I need something more to get me to watch the last quarter.
I wouldn't bother.
Oh, okay. It feels like the whole first 3 quarters seems to have been a lot of setup, and I'm partially interested. Don't know if I'm super interested.
Have you seen a Marvel movie before?
Yes.
All right, cool. Then you're set. All right.
I know what my problem was. I went into it expecting it not to be a Marvel movie.
Yeah, for sure.
The ratings for it were so good, and I thought, do you know what? It might be like a kind of darker side of it. It might have a bit more content to it. But it was no.
I couldn't watch it. It was too like jarring.
It's the same as the rest of them. And you know what? They 100% have their place, but we'll do Marvel another day. I watched the new Brett Goldstein rom-com starring Brett Goldstein and Jennifer Lopez.
I thought that was an
Romance.
interesting pairing, actually.
I mean, who would you pair J-Lo with?
I know.
Yeah, exactly. So Office Romance it's called, and it is, wow, if it's raining on a Saturday afternoon and you want to watch a shit rom-com, it is perfect. It is exactly what you expect it to be, which is exactly what we wanted at the time. So it is a solid 2.5 out of 5 film.
How long is it?
I don't know.
Too long?
90 minutes, 2 hours.
Oh, perfect.
Not really sure. My review on Letterboxd is this is a film, which is all I could say about it. Right, Chernobyl. Let's preface this first of all by saying that. Oh, actually, I don't know about you two. I have almost no knowledge of the Soviet Union or the Cold War apart from what I've seen in like TV shows. How is your late 80s political history?
I'd like to immediately defer to Natasha.
Why?
I mean, as someone who has been to Russia.
I mean, yeah, I've been to
and
Russia.
knows a lot about it, I feel.
I studied Russia and the Cold War.
Oh, okay. So you know...
Yeah.
Okay, that's really
I know a little
handy.
bit. I know a little bit, yeah.
Okay, my next preface then may not include you as well, is that we are not Russian speaking, so we're going to try the names, but they might come out wrong. Tash, how's your Russian?
No, I don't know any Russian.
Don't know any Russian?
No.
Okay, fine. And my third preface is, I think that was all of them actually. I just wanted to make sure.
Disclaimer.
Yeah, we're talking about the TV show Chernobyl. The other thing is that every now and again I might call it Chernobyl.
Probably.
Yeah,
I was
and that
calling
is-
it that all last night when we were watching it.
And that is my prerogative. Will, tell us about Chernobyl.
I would be glad to. The series was released in 2019 and aired on HBO in the US and Sky Atlantic in the UK. It's a 5-part limited series, with each episode focusing on a different stage of the disaster, investigation, cover-up, and aftermath. Craig Mazin created and wrote the series, while John Rennick directed all 5 episodes. Much of the series was filmed in Lithuania, including at a decommissioned nuclear power plant that visually stood in for Chernobyl. That was nice for him to stand in for that. The cast includes Jared Harris, Stellan Skarsgård, Emily.
That's a name.
I'm just used to not being able to pronounce them. Emily Watson, Jesse Buckley, Paul Rickler, and Adam Nigatis.
Yeah. So I didn't realise that every episode was directed by the same person, and having now learnt that, I'm like, yep, that makes sense, and I like it when they do that. I'd also like to say that a limited miniseries is my favourite form of storytelling, without question.
I feel like it's more focused on actually creating a piece of art than it is necessarily about making money. Obviously, they wouldn't be doing it if it didn't make money, but it's more focused on actually, we've got something really good, we're going to make just the story, not making anything else, not interested in any side stories or plots. It's just, here's a great piece of cake, eat it, and then you're done.
Yeah, we want the start, the middle, and the finish, and there's going to be no sequels, and it's not just going to be 2 hours long.
Yeah,
it's
for the sake of it. Yeah.
Tash, you nodded ferociously when I said that. You agree?
I agree. I fully agree with. I love a miniseries. I think it's enough to kind of get your teeth into a story, and then it's done. I think sometimes TV can be drawn out for the sake of being drawn out.
Yeah.
And I think this hits the sweet spot.
For sure, yeah. Like 5 hours is good TV.
Perfect.
So, you and I, Will, had seen Chernobyl before.
We have seen Chernobyl before.
Did you enjoy it the first time round?
I really, really bloody did.
Did you really, really bloody did in the second time round?
I really bloody did.
Really, really bloody did. Cool. I also enjoyed it the first time. I have a sneaky suspicion that the first time I watched this entire series, I was, how can I put this? Extremely high throughout. Because that was the time. This time around, extremely sober throughout, and enjoyed it more, I think.
Oh, I was going to say improvement. Or
yeah, I think generally speaking, that's the way you enjoy things most when you are sober. I can say that from experience. But Tash, this was your first time.
It was.
watching
Will has been
Chernobyl.
trying to persuade me to watch it for years.
But you are against watching things that are good, right? Because
No. I'm against watching things that are hyped. So
even when they are good.
Yeah. So give it a few years and I will watch Stranger Things from start to finish.
Sure.
I think there was the element of some of the more unpleasant scenes in this, which
well,
I think was
I guess
deterrent.
again because I know Russian history and
Sure.
Soviet,
Okay,
and
yeah.
it's not nice.
I was
a lot of the
fascinated by your
time.
commentary, and some of them like, no, not Gorbachev, no.
No, I was really disappointed
I
in
was like, who?
Gorbachev, but we'll get to that.
And just to be clear, high or sober?
Sober.
Sober. Cool. Probably again.
For anyone that knows Tash, that's a hilarious question.
Okay, so loved it. Everyone loved it.
Loved it.
Loved it.
No notes.
Yeah, I mean, plenty of notes.
No notes.
No notes at all.
I'm ready to argue with you on this.
Okay, now Tash is
100%.
going to give a big stamp on it as well, aren't you, Tash?
Am I?
Your masterpiece stamp.
Yeah, my masterpiece stamp.
I might put a stamp sound effect in there if I remember, but other than that, I won't. You don't often think things are masterpieces, do you?
No, I don't.
Can you name me another miniseries masterpiece
No.
off the top of your head?
Wow.
Is this the best miniseries you've ever seen?
Whoa.
Shit.
It is, yeah.
Are you now annoyed that it's taken you 7 years to watch it?
Probably, yeah.
Okay. Well, would you maybe now watch something that's highly hyped sooner?
Yeah, probably.
Oh, okay.
But she
So-
won't.
So in the same way that Mad Max Fury Road put me off cinema,
Yeah.
Chernobyl has put you into actually watching things that are good.
Yeah, probably.
Hooray!
But it depends what you mean by good.
Okay, yeah, fine. You trust me and Will though, right?
Most of the time.
Cool. All right, let's ring that bell.
Does Chernobyl successfully turn exposition into suspense instead of letting it feel like information dumping?
So I say yes to this. Like, it is just a list of events and theories and witness statements, a bit like sort of a courtroom drama without being a courtroom drama until like episode 5. And yet it remains utterly engaging. it's not shot particularly in an interesting way. Like we don't have like it's, don't get me wrong, it's not shot badly or anything, but we don't have like quick cuts, or there's not like techniques that draw your eye in any way. It is entirely porridge coloured. I've described it as Jen called it beige, I call it porridge coloured. So it can only be the performances and the writing that make this show brilliant. And I feel like I'm speaking in a way that's putting it down, but I'm not. Tash, I need you to tell me why this incredibly boring show is so fucking good.
Okay. I would pick you up on that point about it not being shot interestingly, because it is really interesting.
Okay.
It's shot very, very well.
Wonderful. I didn't say it wasn't shot well.
You said not interesting.
Okay, go on.
It's very interesting. The shot compositions are really interesting. So when you're looking at how shots are composed, you're looking at where you're placing the characters in the scene.
Yeah.
Where their positioning is, and how that evokes kind of emotion. And so this isn't what I could, it's definitely not a spectacle series. It's not Marvel. I thank God for that. It just focuses on the characters, and I think it does do the exposition incredibly well. I think what's really clever is that it doesn't feel like exposition, and we're learning things at the same time as the characters. So it feels super urgent rather than explanatory. We're in disaster with them. We follow their journey, and that's what makes it, interesting and exciting. And we're thrown straight into the middle of it, and we're trying to work out how bad it really is with them. We're alongside them. It's like we are one of the operators in that.
So it's like exposition is when a character's telling another character what they already know has happened, so that the audience knows what happened. Exposition
is generally just information to give you a context.
Yeah, and we're getting that from them. However, it's not them telling us, it's them telling themselves, it's them telling each other. They are learning as we are learning.
Yeah.
And I think you're right, it puts us in there. Going back to the shot thing, I think I've worded my point wrongly, because you're absolutely right. It is shot wonderfully. I think it's not edited in a particularly interesting way. So
as in like quick cuts jumping around.
It's quite static, and so yeah, I think I've used the wrong terminology there, but
I think it keeps you stuck because the characters are stuck.
Yes, it's not like
stuck in the mud.
It's not visually dynamic, is what I'm saying, and I'm using that as a compliment to it. It doesn't rely on that in a way. Sorry, go on.
And I think where the suspense comes from is kind of this. Here's what you need to know, guys. It's every new thing we learn makes the situation worse. So the exposition becomes the conflict, because everything we learn makes it slightly worse, especially when we're in the control room after the explosions happened and they're trying to work out what the hell has happened, and the characters are under increasing pressure, so us as the audience are under increasing pressure because we really feel what's going on. And I think with something as complex as Chernobyl, it being an historical event with the science, politics, lies, panic and historical weight all behind it, the exposition basically becomes the drama, and the information is the suspense, guys.
It was the knowledge we found along the way that was the true treasure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like you say, I can't think of another example of a show that does this well, where it's just a list of events that have happened, and it keeps us utterly engaged. Will, how did you find it?
I got a comment. Do you find that the editing I thought it made it feel more Soviet almost. It wasn't flashy. It wasn't colourful.
The Soviet look.
It was kind of like. It's a weird thing to say. It felt Soviet, It's just
It feels really, really genuine. And again, I cannot stress this enough. I am not criticising the editing.
I can't believe you'd say these horrible things about it. Otherwise, it was just so good. I really do feel like the amount of information it was able to convey, and in such an interesting way. It's very rare that we find like a science-heavy show, is what I'd call it, that both me and Tash would both enjoy, because we both you're such an English brain, I've got such a science brain or technology brain, and it's weird that we can then go look at both enjoy something and go, wow. And I feel like I learned so much from it. I feel like I've retained all of the information it tried to convey. It's one of those rare pieces of like artwork or entertainment or whatever you want to call it, where it's just so brilliant and it's just so educational. It's so bizarre, but I'd watch it as much as I'd watch Game of Thrones. It was just brilliant.
I don't think I learned anything from it.
Do you not? Okay.
No, but I think I could. But I think I was uninterested in the science behind it. Like I sat with Jen, who is a scientist, and I am going to try and drag Jen up here to have a little chat about the science of it. And we'll have a little bonus episode on that. But it just doesn't interest me. And I don't mean that again. I don't mean that as a criticism of the show. I listened to everything said. I liked in episode 5 when he's got like the balance and stuff. But I also liked how that the language on those boards was in is it Cyrillic? Is that what the language is called?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you didn't need to be able to know what each one was. You were just looking at the balance, and I think that's another genius part of the show, because the science is accurate. Like that's one of the things that they really got right was all the science behind it, and yet they could have been saying yes, and then the Care Bears shot their rainbows out of their bellies, and the unicorns all stamped all over them, and I would have been, oh shit, right, and that's what caused the explosion. Okay, great. But just another example of how this show it's almost under the radar. Genius. We're going to talk about that later. Yeah. Thank you for explaining why this show's good.
I feel like it's every single droplet of information then fed in. Like at the start, obviously throughout the first couple of episodes, we're talking about the rotogens, and they're obviously only going up to 3.6, or everyone just going, oh, it's only 3.6, it's not that bad. And you can just, as the viewer, you're seeing it from all these different parts, and it's almost like snowballing. And in every single extra piece of information you get, you do feel like this caged observer almost. You can see it coming from all these different avenues. You can see it building almost to a climax. But again, they're just doing it with these small like snippets that even the characters don't look shocked at. They're not looking horrified at. As a viewer, you're not really getting the science unless you are a nuclear scientist. But for some reason, you still understand it, and you know that's not good. But just because of the consistency of it, how do they do that? It's so good. So good.
I think that's a really good point that you've made, that even if you don't understand it, you still get it. And I think they do that with the clickety-clackety machine, which Jen kept yelling at me for calling it the clickety-clackety machine. The disseminator, or the
Geiger counter?
The Geiger counter, yeah. That noise, we have all been trained to know, oh, that's bad noise.
No.
Noise. Oh, it's
Run
getting
away.
faster, even worse noise.
Does the show's commitment to historical accuracy make the drama stronger?
So I'm going to preface this by saying I do understand why this show has received some criticism from some of the people who were involved, obviously because it's telling their story, mostly without their permission, and also from just the general population. I think it's a very sensitive subject, so it's still very recent. Like, it's only 40 years ago, which is not long in the grand scheme of things. And I think when you're dealing with real events, real people and real suffering, people are naturally going to have strong opinions. But I think it also what makes this kind of storytelling so interesting, because accuracy isn't always straightforward, because everyone's memories, personal experience and human opinion all come into their perspective on things.
Even written history. Especially coming out of the Soviet Union.
Yeah. You don't know what's right and what's wrong at that point. And obviously I think the show does take dramatic license. Obviously I think I can't remember her name, the female scientist was
Ulana.
Yeah, was created to represent all of the scientists that help.
Oh no, that's Kumyak.
Yeah. So that obviously she's a made up character to kind of represent a wider group of scientists. I think with that, obviously the show does take that dramatic license, but it still has to work as television, even though I hate the phrase good TV.
Why do you hate the phrase good TV?
I just think...
Is it a bit reductive?
It's an excuse. Yeah. I think it's
sure.
like, oh yeah, it's got to be good TV, so they had to do it like that. And it's like, no, I think it undermines quite a lot of what creators do, and they have to find ways of telling a story in a economic and engaging way, and sometimes that does mean creating new characters or changing perspective slightly to help push the story in a way that's going to resonate with audiences.
Yeah, it's a story, isn't it?
Yeah.
This is essentially an adaptation, not an adaptation of another fictitious piece, but of
real life.
Of real life.
Yeah.
I like the phrase conservation of characters. You get that quite a lot in like Game of Thrones, for example. You know, you'll have one character that represents a whole band of characters, and I think that's important to tell a story, because we can't relate to a room full of 20 random scientists. We need one face to attach it to.
And it's like when they had with the miners, they had the one guy representing all the miners. And so he was kind of talking for them. But again, you couldn't have a perspective of every single miner that went down into the under the reactor. So it worked really, really
Unless
well.
you're doing a mini-series on the miners. Or
Yeah,
a
exactly.
mini-series on the group of scientists.
Oh,
yeah.
maybe we should do that.
We haven't got the budget.
We could try. I think the emotional truth feels really strong though through all of these characters, and I think even where things are condensed or shaped, I think the show still feels really grounded, and it does feel respectful, I think, and serious about what happened. They showed commitment to the science. They showed commitment to, you know, and like the little montage at the end of the series where they explain what happened to everybody, and you know, showed pictures of the real people, I think was really important as well. I think something I wanted to say about the series overall as well, I think we as audiences have learned to rely so much on spectacle. I think to an excessive amount sometimes. I think that Chernobyl, when something like it comes along, it's kind of challenging us to go, sit and watch this because it's important.
Yeah.
And I think spectacle doesn't make filmmaking. It's just one part of it. And I think the visuals within Chernobyl are important, but they're very subtle. It doesn't make them any less impactful than something that spectacle would. It's all about the subtleties, I think, of character and image.
What was it? The subtleties of beige? Is
The
that what we were
subtleties of
talking about
beige.
earlier? I think I agree. Like when you use a real world tragedy, you're kind of borrowing the drama, isn't it? You don't need to create it yourself through character or anything. You don't need to convince your audience that there are stakes because they already know that there are stakes. And I think a true story will always be felt more strongly than a fictional one when done correctly. Yeah. I think when a true story is dramatized, it's like throwing fuel on a fire, isn't it? Because you already have the drama of the true story, and then you're creating these bigger things, like the things that Legasov and Shabina's relationship. That's not documented, but they created a good story out of it. Dyatlov's villainy as well. Like he wasn't this like moustache twirling, get on your knees and press the button, you little bitch. Like he wasn't that guy at all. He was apparently a massive fan of poetry. He was stern, but he wasn't that negligent, so to speak. You talk about the criticism from the people who were actually involved in it. Jessie Buckley's character,
she wasn't happy, was
Ignatenko. She didn't give permission for her story to be told. However, as far as I can see, it was accurately told.
Yeah.
Which is interesting because, correct me if I'm wrong, you don't need to give permission for your story to be told.
No.
Do you know what I mean? So, I mean, that's a question about morals and ethics that is for another time. But I don't think any of the fictionalizations that are made in this show are disrespectful at all. I think if you want to tell a story that educates and honors a tragedy, you have to make it watchable. You have to make it, sorry Tash, you have to make it good TV. But you do, don't you? Because if you want to watch a documentary, go watch a documentary. There are plenty of Chernobyl documentaries out there. But if you want to be sort of, forgive me, but entertained about a horrendous event, you have to make it watchable and you have to make drama out of it. And I think it actually does the story better to have that. We talked about this Titanic, didn't we? Like the Rose and Jack storyline.
Titanic is nothing.
I was about to bring up Titanic. Yeah.
Well, it's really interesting. Like we watched Titanic last week and then Chernobyl this week, and they're both real world disasters, and they've both been dramatized to a certain extent. And like one's very spectacle heavy, and one's very talking in rooms heavy. I just think it's interesting that we completely accidentally sandwiched these two together. Go on, Will.
I think it just makes the drama so much stronger that it's historically accurate. I think I'm more interested in non-fiction when I do reading and things like that. So to have this presented in such a manner that does seem historically accurate, I think for some of the fictional elements, particularly around, I've already forgotten her name, even though I told you the name a moment ago, Ilana, I thought that was genuinely a real person until I got to the end of the TV series, until the end of the series, and then it presented the epilogue of kind of all the things that happened afterwards. And I think I forgot that both times. On the second rewatch, I forgot that she wasn't a real character. And I think the only reason I think that's a shame is the acting and the portrayal of her was so good. I really felt her plight and her struggle. But I guess that kind of reflects more then onto the group of scientists. But otherwise, I think that it's so difficult, or must be so difficult, presenting such a colossal historical event where so many people died and suffered, and then do that in a respectful way that, again, it's a shame about the word entertaining, but hopefully you know what we mean by we say entertaining or saying engaging and informative, and that you want to watch it. It doesn't have to be like, oh, I'm enjoying this. This is ruddy, brilliant.
Yeah, something doesn't need to be enjoyable to be entertaining or to keep you interested.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
I think they just did it so well, and I feel like they did do it respectfully. I guess I'm not one of those people, so I can't say that one way or another, but to me it feels like they really did put an emphasis on the plight of the people, the victims, as well as the people who were responsible for it, in air quotes, and it wasn't just a simple bashing of, oh, well, it's just the Soviet Union eye roll. It really does kind of talk about it from a very kind of factual, level-headed perspective, where it goes into a lot of detail on just the whole of everything, really. Is
I was going to say that too. This show does not demonize the Soviet Union in any way,
no.
And I think that's accurate. Like, it wasn't. I mean, it obviously had its bad points, but it wasn't just this like horrendous regime, top to bottom. Correct me if I'm wrong here, Tash.
No, they were the good guys.
Yeah, for sure.
And I think it's the same with any like political system and any kind of government. There's always going to be the corruption. There's always going to be the dodgy stuff going on, but there were always good people, and that was shown. Boris.
I think it would have come off as facetious then, or kind of like I can't think of a better word for it. Where if they all had just gone, it's just Soviet Union, nothing else. Nothing else was the problem. It's just the whole society of it. I feel like that would have just not been genuine, and it would have come across like they were. I can't think of a better way to put it, so I do apologize. Just like Western imperialistic. It's just Soviet Union. But so I'm really glad that they really seem to go into the details of every single element that went wrong.
We seem to be getting a lot of stories now coming out of not coming out of the Soviet Union, but about the Soviet Union that aren't doing the whole like Russians are bad guys stories, and I'm finding them really, really engaging, because it's a fascinating period of history. So speaking of the historical accuracies of it, as far as I'm aware, the people involved in the Chernobyl disaster weren't all English speaking.
No.
And how did we feel about them going, nope, everyone's going to speak English in their own accent. We're not going to have, accents, Russian accents, Ukrainian accents. How do we feel about this?
I liked it.
Okay.
I kind of thought as well, I thought if you're going to try and do it, it could have been done quite badly as well. And I think it would have been maybe not insulting, but just talking in your normal accent is probably the best way to go. And I think, again, you're going to have different Russian accents, right? Everyone's going to have a slightly different dialect. So I think it was quite accurate in the sense that it just showed that everybody's slightly different. And doing it in the English accent, I don't think detracted in any way. And I think a point you said about the Russian being actually on the balance board, and it's on all of everywhere. Anything that's written is in Russian, so I don't think it detracted at all.
I agree. I think you had two choices here: either just English speaking or Russian speaking. Get Russian and Ukrainian accent actors to do it, and I think then you have a subtitled show. And I like a subtitle show as long as it's good, obviously. But I think immediately, as soon as you have a foreign language film, you put a barrier up, and you're trying to tell a different or trying to do a different show.
I think the fact it was in what we would term as English or normal accents made it more relatable as well. It felt like you were more there, whereas if they had then put fake Russian accents, it would again felt disrespectful. You would have had that one step further away from the disaster, so you wouldn't have engaged with it as much. Yeah,
and I think you'd spot every time they drop their accent, because no actor has ever done a perfect accent ever.
And I think I actually really liked as well. I don't know. This is a personal preference. I find the American accent very jarring sometimes. So I was really glad that there was no American in there. And I think that would have put us again, because they talk about the West in there, and I think they talk about America a lot and what America are going to say. And I just think if they'd had American speaking actors or American accents, it would have completely taken.
I heard an interesting point
everything
about this, about how they used English actors, not American actors, because American actors are more good looking than English actors. Which
I would argue English actors are better than American actors.
Well, that was the other point that they made, is because in America they're very focused on the aesthetic of their people. You know, the person who works behind the desk in Black Widow in like a random office is going to be some fucking like supermodel who can act okay. Whereas in England, like, you know,
How many words per minute can you type? That's what we really want to know.
yeah, we want that kind of accuracy. And I think if everyone in this show was fucking gorgeous, now I think if Tom Cruise is playing Legasov, we're out of it, aren't we? Because it's not very porridgey, not very Soviet.
Was Mazin's decision to open the series with the explosion the right one?
So I found this decision extremely strange, like at first. We talk about the bomb under the table theory, about how, you know, creating suspense is, you know, that the bomb's under the table. And then you have the whole Chekhov's gun thing, you know, oh yes, no, this boat will never sink and all that kind of stuff. And yet they didn't put the bomb under the table. They just fucking threw the bomb at us. Like act 1, scene 1. Incredibly brave. And ultimately, like, wonderfully successful. So rather than like building tension, Mazin just drops us straight into the disaster, just to soak up the horror, and we start to feel comfortable in it. Did you find this like you talk about this like snowball thing, Will, about it like being one thing after the other? I felt a lot like the characters. They kind of forgot how deadly it was.
Yes.
Like
yeah.
when Legasov and Shabina were in the hotel room just kind of like chatting away, and he's like, no, we're going to be dead in 5 years. I'm like, oh shit, yeah, we're in, because it's invisible, isn't it? Like the whole death that's surrounding you is all invisible, and I think we don't get the chance to understand how devastating it's all going to be. A lot like the characters, you know, you talked about it, Tash, about the exposition, about how we're learning it as they are, and I think starting with the explosion gives us the opportunity to experience it as they did, rather than having the pre-warning, like knowing it's going to happen throughout episode 1, but just being dropped in it. What did you think, Tash?
If only James Cameron had been better with Titanic.
Okay, so in Titanic, if the boat had sank at the start,
Excellent, brilliant, shorter movie. Wouldn't have to gone through all of that.
it wouldn't have been a movie.
Good. Anyway.
You loved Titanic.
No, I didn't.
Go on.
Anyway.
I was going to say, I'm going to start Titanic. I'm going to go on a spiel, so let's not do that.
So when the explosion happened the first time, I thought, of course, perfect, brilliant, excellent. I just thought it was the right decision. I mean, it doesn't spend ages setting everything up or over explaining what's coming, throws us into the event and trusts us to keep up, which I think is what a lot of filmmakers need to learn from. And they need to trust their audiences more, and I think Craig Mazin does do that, and I think it works because the explosion isn't the story. It's the start of the story, and it's the inciting incident from which the real drama comes from. So the real drama is from everything that follows, the reactions of the characters, their denial, the whole politics surrounding it, the fear, and the way different people respond under pressure. I found that, I think, the most interesting part of this series was seeing how people responded under pressure and who came through and crumbled and who came through and kind of stood taller for it. And I think it was just a really interesting look at how humans kind of work in situations of crises. And I think what makes it really compelling is how everyone has a different human response.
It's that was what I was gonna say, is that seeing how people react under pressure, but also not blaming them for kind of failing under pressure. I think a lot of the like the three that are blamed for it, Dyatlov and the other two, I felt for them, because they had no idea what was going on. Like no one had any idea what was going on. There was a great line from Legasov who says, "This has never happened in human history," and this is when Shabina is saying, "What do we do?" And he's like, I don't know. This has never happened before. Well, what do we do? And I think that is, it's incredible to watch. Only thing I'll call you up on there, Tash, that I disagree with you is I don't think filmmakers need to trust their audiences more, because I don't think filmmakers can trust their audience.
I mean, I will say audiences have got worse.
Yeah, for sure. But I think that's okay as well. Like I say, I watched Office Romance yesterday, and at no point did they trust me. You know, and that's fine, because I didn't want to be trusted in that point. I didn't want to concentrate. I wanted to like play a game of chess in the background and you know, kind of go and make a cup of tea in the middle and not miss anything. I think I think if you went to every movie and had to concentrate throughout it, like you loved Cheap Detectives.
I did love Sheep Detectives,
which is not a complex movie that you had to.
I think this is my writer brain wanting to be challenged more.
Yeah, for sure.
And I think a lot, like I go into a lot of things and I feel like my writer brain goes, oh, come on now, it was lazy. Or, yeah, but again, I need to change perspective of a general audience. It's very different in terms of like.
What annoys me is when things claim to be highbrow and aren't.
And they're really not.
Yeah. Will, how did you find the explosion straight off?
Fantastic, really good. I think it's hard not to compare it to Titanic, so I do apologise for it, but I think the reason why almost it felt like the explosion was at the start was because it, again, as you've said, it wasn't the main danger. The main danger was the radiation. So if you use the same analogy with the bomb under the table, because we're finding out all this information about the radiation, it's like the table's on wheels, and every time we kind of go to look underneath it, the table like wheels away slightly, and it wheels away slightly, it's always slightly kind of out of reach. And then that's why it's not tangible to them. They're not able to see it, and then they remember it's there, then go for it, and then it kind of wheels right away a little bit again. It's I thought it was fantastic. And again, then looking back to Titanic, I think with Titanic you have to look at, especially when it's a real world event, the disaster which then causes, I guess, the character death or the suffering. So in Titanic it was the boat hitting the iceberg and then the boat breaking and then obviously the people drowning, whereas for this there's so many steps in between the explosion that the explosion is almost just the starting point. And then that felt even more horrifying almost at the end of the TV series when you saw what led up to the explosion and the decisions being made and people trying to call out the safety. It almost was just, God, it was awful, but yeah, brilliant.
Yeah, I mean, can you imagine a 5-hour mini-series of Stellan Skarsgård just saying the boat hit an iceberg? Because that's all that happened.
Yeah. I feel like Titanic, it's though they then need to put the romance on it, because this is just a very factual
90s baby
TV series. It's just
90s.
I think if you had the explosion at the end, it would have made
90s. If you were in the 90s, Will.
Honestly, I'm glad they didn't do it. I think it would have made it feel cheap, and this makes it feel very gripping. Yeah,
but the thing is, they do put a relationship in this show. Like, they did fictionalize the Legasov and Shabina relationship. That is, like we talked about bromance in, I can't remember what movie it was that we watched. But we are gripped by their relationship and how it changes. So, I mean, it's not Jack and Rose, no. But they did have to put a relationship in there for us to get along with.
I think, like, romance relationships are just so easy to achieve very quickly and very cheaply, whereas the bromance of this is so well earned and is so gradual that by the end you feel it's genuine. Whereas again, the Jack and Rose one was just immediately like, oh, you look good. Oh, let's fall in love.
When was the last time you fell in love with someone on a cruise ship?
I've never been on a cruise ship because I don't want to drown.
Exactly. So you can't comment. No, I don't think it's fair to say that this is better because it didn't have a fake romance in it when it had a fake bromance in it. You know.
No, it's just better.
No, it is just better for sure. Mm-hmm. But like, don't call out something else for having a fake relationship when this also has a fake relationship.
I don't feel it was fake though. I don't think it was.
Like, it was fictionalized. It wasn't real.
Even if you're telling me that, I don't believe it because it was so well earned.
Okay, I mean, is Chernobyl better than Titanic?
Yes.
Yeah, yes, it is. Of course,
I'm
it
so glad you said that.
But I'm not going to let you use Titanic as a stick to beat. No, hang on, Chernobyl with a stick to beat Chernobyl. Titanic. You get what I'm saying. Leave Titanic alone.
Would Chernobyl still be as gripping if it had relied more on visual sequences?
All right, so seeing as the gloves are out, Tash, I'll go first, and then you can hit me repeatedly afterwards. Would Chernobyl still be as gripping if it had relied more on visual sequences? Yes, of course it would be. That's how entertainment works. Like, you use the word gripping. If you want to grip an audience, then you make it entertaining. And like, this show does not rely at all on visual sequences or action scenes or set pieces. But had it done, it would have been even better. Like, action scenes can enhance a story. It can build a world. It can expand characters. And it does so in a way that can be easier to absorb than just dialogue. This could have been done through like flashback, or like while he's describing it, you get I talk about these like dynamic edits that they could have had. I don't think this show needed more visual sequences or like action scenes, but I think if it did have it, I do think the show's better. Yell at me, Tash. I dare you. Come at me,
Yeah,
bro.
we'll come at you, bro. I think the visuals are incredible as they are. They didn't need any more. And I think it becomes something very different. It becomes Marvel-esque if you're going to start doing dynamic cut. No. Because, no. I don't think visuals would have made it more powerful. And I think the explosion, the physical disaster matter, but it's not what keeps you gripped. And there are some like stunning visuals going throughout this whole thing. I think the beauty of the cinematography is in the setup of each shot, the camera angles, and how the showing becomes part of the acting. While there is telling, it's embedded in the showing and how the actors and the characters are working throughout this whole show, and what they're saying doesn't actually match up with what they're thinking or experiencing a lot of the time. It's a masterclass in writing subtext and how people and humans interact, and I think that is where the beauty of the show comes from, is in the people, not in I don't think the visuals would have made any difference whatsoever, because you're taking time away from the people and their expressions and how they're reacting. And I think the dialogue is so controlled, the acting is incredibly subtle but brilliant, and much of the tension comes from the people in rooms trying to understand, deny or manage something that's completely beyond them at this point. And if you added more visuals, you're taking away from that, and I think ruining it.
All right, consider me defeated. Yeah, fine. I completely accept your argument. The way that you say that the telling becomes the showing, because that's something that I struggled to get over with in this show, is that we're always told to show not tell, and yet all this show does is tell. And I couldn't figure out why it was working. And you're absolutely right; it is in the subtext and it is in the performances. And I wouldn't want any of that to be taken away. And when I say like visual sequences, I am talking about like action set pieces. Like in episode 5 we have a little bit of action. I
think what the visual sequence that was really powerful for me was the firefighters.
Yes, yeah, that was what I was
that was
say
really
as well,
powerful, and I think there's not a lot of dialogue going in there. It's all just pure panic and scramble to try and do something to alleviate what's been happening.
Yeah, it's not like a fast-paced action scene, but it certainly is like gets your blood pumping. What I will say is that I wouldn't have wanted any of that to be taken away. However, I don't like episode 4.
Okay.
And which is wild for me for a show that I consider to be pretty much perfect. I really didn't like episode 4. Now, episode 4 is the one with the dogs. Where they go around shooting the dogs. I think that is completely unnecessary. It's really, really long as well. I talk about puppy kicking in terms of like when you build a villain, you just get them to kick a puppy because it makes them instantly bad. We don't need to see these guys going around shooting dogs to understand this is bad. If you haven't become sympathetic to the victims of the Chernobyl disaster yet, and you need to see a dog be shot, then you're watching the wrong fucking show. You know, the opening scene of that sequence where he's talking to the lady milking the cow and he shoots the cow, I think that gives me goosebumps thinking about it. Is incredibly powerful, and that's all they needed for that. Then we have the robots on the roof that melt down. I think that's a really cool bit where like we lied to the Germans about how bad it was, so they sent us the wrong robot. But then Legazov goes, "We use bio robots." It's like, fucking bio robots? What do you mean? We use men. I hated that line for a show so brilliantly written to use the word bio robots. I hated that. I think the 90-second scrambles on the ceiling are a bit like we have the preamble before. It was like, whatever you do, don't fall over. Oh, he fell over. What a surprise. I really didn't like episode 4, essentially. So what I'm saying is that could have been replaced by an action sequence, that whole hour, and I still think we still got a perfect show.
And it could have been 4 episodes, not 5.
Or it could have been 4 episodes and not had the action shot. Sure. How did you guys find episode 4? I found myself getting bored during it, which is horrible.
You mentioned something about the dog scene before we left this morning.
Yeah.
What was it, Will?
I can't remember at all.
There was something about how it didn't come back to it. So like you had the dog scene and then it didn't come back to it.
Yes, thank you. I thought it was fascinating because after finishing it and then thinking about it this morning, I was going, right, so shame we didn't go back to the people killing the dogs or the whole of the, kind of Soviet army dealing with the disaster. But I felt that was perfect because I've been left actually wanting more from what happened on that side of things But at the same time, if I think about what I would have gotten if they had provided more, I don't think it would have given me anything conducive or productive or anything that would have advanced the story. So I think it was perfect, as in the time that we had spent there. I actually really rated the dog scenes, and then the scenes in the camp. I actually thought it was. I'm sorry, I maybe I'm watching the wrong thing, because I did find that really did emotionally develop the story a bit more for me. I felt like it was an example of how a disaster such as this has so many kind of like small butterfly style consequences, and that it then always feels like they're just panicking, and it's just, again, as you said, they don't really know what they're doing because it's never happened before. So they're like, I guess we'll just kill the animals
and shoot all the dogs.
And then when you research it, which I think that actually they probably might have explained Bella on why they're killing the dogs. They don't actually really kind of know still now why they're going around killing the animals. The best reasons were in case that they had some kind of radioactive dust in their fur and spread it, in case they had some kind of radioactive illness, or simply in case they're a danger to workers or people stroke them. And it's like all these reasons, or eating the people examples. But again, it just feels so wasteful, and I felt like I've forgotten his name. I think is it the actor called Barry when he shoots that dog. I felt like I was shooting that dog. It was so awful, so gut-wrenching.
He wasn't fussed about shooting the cow, though, was he? You noticed that?
Was a different actor.
Oh, was it? Was
It
that
was a different
I
person,
just put Barry
actor.
Keoghan in
Yeah,
that.
no.
Fair enough. Yeah, I mean that is the closest thing we got to the action scenes, wasn't it? Because there wasn't a great deal of talking.
And it felt, even the action then it felt disturbing, which is why I don't think it would have benefited from any more action. And I think it would have cheapened then the talking almost.
No, I do concede that for sure. But I think the only reason that I wanted more is because of that whole episode I didn't like.
Yeah.
So I thought it was wasteful. They needed the cow scene. But like I say, it's a small blot on an otherwise perfect show.
I mean, I liked the dog scene. I thought it was a bit of a metaphor. So I wrote down something that the army guy said. He said they eat the chickens and then they eat each other. And I thought that was a real metaphor for like what was happening. Like people turned on each other. Well, they turned on the innocents first. It was, leave the innocents where they are. It will be fine. So they ate them, and then they went to eat each other because then they were infighting. And the whole kind of trying to work out what's going on, threatening each other, blackmailing each other, just the whole unpleasantness of it all.
Yeah.
It was a bit of a metaphor for all of it.
I felt they had to convey in some way the amount of manpower that was then put into cleaning this up, and especially with the comment at the end about, was it 900,000 people or something were conscripted to deal with it, and obviously we don't know what the impact of that was. And then obviously if Boris etc were very factual, we're going to be dead in 10 years, I guess that applies to all of those nearly 1 million people. So they had to convey that. I guess if they did something else with episode 4, actually it would have just been, let's not have an episode 4 rather than make the series longer. So
it's interesting where they drew their line of the how many people it affected, because of course, you say like, they had to tell their story, but then what about everyone else? Kids are still getting cancer in that area.
Yeah.
All right, fair, but I do concede to your point about the action scenes, Tash.
Hooray!
I admit defeat.
Does Chernobyl prove that talking in rooms can create more tension than action?
Gee, what do you think, Tash?
Yes.
Gee, what do you think, Will?
Yes.
So, do I think that Chernobyl proves that talking in rooms can create more tension than action? Yes, absolutely.
Hooray!
100%. I mean, I do love an action scene, but I think action scenes are pointless without the talking in rooms. You have, like you say, you have to have the subtext. You have to have the characters. What an incredible TV show.
Masterpiece.
I forgot how good it was. If you haven't seen this and you're listening to this podcast, just for God's sake, quit your job, whatever you're doing, just watch it. It is so good.
It is. We need to make a list of miniseries and just like
rate them
because I think I've watched them all.
All of them.
Speaking of watching them all and miniseries, what are we watching this week? Because I'm watching Sharp Objects, which is an HBO miniseries starring Amy Adams. I wanted to watch it for so long, and is one of the only reasons I got HBO Max. What are you guys watching? You're feverishly typing away on your phone.
trying to think of the names of
I'm
things.
trying to think of the names. Oh, I am on my next Letterboxd top 100 film now, as I've now finally finished.
This is Hash vamping while she finds out what she's watching.
Yeah.
If only we did this every week.
Old Boy.
Old Boy. What's that?
I've got the log line. With no clue how he came to be imprisoned, drugged and tortured for 15 years, a desperate man seeks revenge on his captors.
Sounds cheery. What are you
Very
watching,
cheery.
Will?
I want to watch Outcome. That's got Keanu Reeves in it.
You love Keanu Reeves, don't you?
I do love
he
it,
loves
Keanu
Keanu
Reeves.
Reeves.
Yeah, it's
Fair
got
enough.
the most awful reviews,
Yeah, as most Keanu Reeves films do.
but they're always so good. So I'm fascinated to see how bad it
I
is.
think Keanu Reeves has been in one good film.
My heart.
Right, guys. What horrendous watch. Can we watch something slightly more lighthearted for next week, please?
We watched How to Train Your Dragons the other week. That was quite light-hearted.
Oh, we did. Was that last week?
That was last week. Yeah.
Oh, we didn't. So we put How to Train Your Dragon in a Titanic Chernobyl sandwich.
Oh,
We
poor
did.
How to Train Your Dragon, blimey.
Glorious. Right. Take it easy, guys.
Bye.